Hey everybody, this is Tim Shorts of Gothridge Manor, and today I'm going to go over one of my micro adventures. Probably going to make a little bit of a series, a micro adventure series. And this one's called Jiraal's Hoard. It was my latest micro adventure released on my Patreon. It's available there for free, although I need to update because I apparently downloaded a PDF with a few issues with it, so I got to go back and correct those and everything like that. But I thought I'd go over it real quick. One of the first things, I've done a few different things with this, and one of the first thing is I was able to get this thing to print out edge-to-edge printing. I have had this printer for over a year, and I finally figured out how to do that. So that's going to look nice. So it'll look just like this, the whole page, no weird blank border around it and everything like that. And then, yeah, so the cover here is by Stinky Goblin, Heather Shin, and J.W. Wojak, something like that. They have a lot of fun pictures on RPG Drive-Thru. So go over to Stinky Goblin over there. If you kind of like this fun, spooky stuff, they got lots of it, and get some really cool monster things with the same kind of theme and whatnot. So again, this is a Shadowdark adventure. It's what I'm grooving on these days, is doing my Shadowdark, and it's a low-level adventure, first to second level characters. Either one of them can, will do fine with it. Now, going to the premise of it. So this one is one that I haven't done, I think, in my Patreon. There's a ticking clock in this one, but it's a different kind of ticking clock. It sets up the adventure in a different way. Instead of like having things like the world ending or different things like that, this is not that dramatic. This is basically a greedy grab in a way. So the parties aren't there to save farmers. They're not save the town from a horde of undead. They don't have to worry about saving anything. This is basically, they hear about a bandit who stole this money from a noble person, and they got caught and killed, but no one's found the money yet from that noble. So everybody's making the move for this treasure. So what I did is I created a group of characters. Let me fling towards there. Called the Storm. Now, rival adventures are pretty popular, I think, in Shadowdark, and something that I like to use, but I kind of haven't used it in Shadowdark for no reason at all. But I used all the tables on there, kind of created these guys. They're just first, I think there's like two first level fighters and a second level fighter, and then a first level cleric and a second level cleric. So there's 5 of them, but not all of them are going to be there. So as you can see, I have these numbers next to their hand, all except Hannah, because Hannah has her own little role to play. But anyways, some of them are going to die. So I have them random how many people will be appearing in this. So the reason why there's a timer on here is the players, let me go back up to the page there. And what ends up happening is they need to get the information from people, and this is going to take them time. So you're going to get some rumors, not a lot of rumors, but it's going to take 1d4 turns to gather each rumor. I give one away for free. The one you really want is this number 1 there. That's the one you need to find a location, or you can just if you want to get the party moving along, that's all you have to do. But if it takes more than 10 turns to gather information and before they leave, maybe they're like Joe and they want to go shopping for new underwear before they leave for their adventure, then I have entries with a 10 plus symbol beside it, and that's what the party will encounter instead of the main entry, or a variation of the main entry, which I'll show you what's going on. But I keep this one very simple. Like, it's a micro adventure, so I make sure everything's quick to run, quick to resolve. And that, so finding Jiraal's hideout, and then that's what I was talking about, finding that rumor. So the first encounter is kind of outside. I'll show you the map real quick. Here is the map. It's just a little map I drew a while ago. 6 encounter, 6 rooms or encounter areas, and this one's kind of on the outside. And the cliff in front of the forest has a small cave opening. There's 3 corpses. They look like a wild animal. Eat their guts. And then someone is looting them. And that's Hannah. That's one I mentioned before. And so she's stripping the bodies of all the goods. And the corpses were Jiraal's guards. Their stomachs were gnawed through by the carrion creeper, which is that little snazzy looking fellow right there. But if it's more than 10 rounds, only the corpses are there. Hannah looted the corpses and rejoined her party. So basically, you'll just read pretty much that first paragraph and everything. It's going to take a little prep for the GMs to know what to read and everything, but I think it's pretty simple, and that they would just have to make adjustments as they go. And then adventure snacks, and then you find the slug creature, and there's 2 corpses down there. Now the 2 corpses this time are from the storm, so they are getting gnawed on down there, and so then you roll D4 to roll to see who's getting gnawed on. And then if the slug creature is a carrion creeper, it has no interest except to eat. Its current position blocks access to the stairs leading to Area 4. And then if it takes more than 10 turns for the party to get through there, the corpses are devoured, only chewed bones are left. The carrion creeper returned to its nest in Area 3, and it's asleep. So I guess the ticking timer on this one is it's either 10 or less. There's not a lot of, what do you want to say, grades. I mean, it's either or. So a DM will just have to adjust accordingly. All right, so maybe they have to fight. These are nasty. I think, though, a party of 1st and 2nd level characters should be able to kind of hack at a level 4 creature. It is nasty, though, because it's got, does a bite, and it does the toxin with the tentacle, which can paralyze you. So but it only has a 12 AC, but it has 18 hit points. So it can take some hits from. I'm going to estimate it's going to take like 4 to 5 hits to kill this thing. And if it gets a hold of somebody, they're going to have a real bad day. And I love that piece of artwork from Rick Hershey. You know what? I'm going to go back. I got to give a shout out to all the artists that are within here. So inside the book, I got 7 different artists inside the book. So, I mean, even though it's a very small adventure, I jam-pack it full of artwork. William McCausland, who's a standard pretty much in everybody's game or their booklets. Yuri Perkowski Domingos. Hopefully I said that right. He is a standard person. I mean, he's like one of the main artists for Shadowdark. I mean, I think pretty much all the official Shadowdark stuff has a piece work in there for him. Got Rick Hershey. Love that guy's art, man. Fantastic. Carlos Castillo. He's also him and Yuri are kind of in the same, I think it's Ink Potion Studios that they have on drive-through, RPG drive-through, that they sell stuff. Great. You can't go wrong. And it basically is sort of like the poster child for Shadowdark artwork. And Dean Spencer, he's like everywhere, does amazingly good art, and he puts out a ton of it quick. So definitely check him out. Luigi Castellina, I think, and his work is great. I use a piece of grayscale art with him. You've seen a lot of his artwork on my NPC cards because a lot of them include Luigi's stuff. The Forge, I think he's one of the original guys, like William McCausland. Used to find his artwork in everything. And then Jason Schultes is one of the classic OSR artists. He's helped me with a lot of projects. So good guys, good artwork. It makes my simple little adventures look so much better for it and everything. So, all right, back down to here again. These little flies are Jason Schultes, he drew for me, but Anyway, so then we hit the carrion nest. Now this is if the carrion creeper is not here. So it's thick with black flies, and I created these things called corpse flies. They're in my Manor 4 from years ago, and what I did, instead of try to integrate the whole thing, the whole idea of them into this adventure, I just kind of swarmed them, adjusted a little bit, added the blood drain ability for them, so they can get nasty fast too. I mean, 1d4 plus blood drain, so if you get hit, that character's draining 1d4. First and second level characters don't have a lot of 1d4s in them, so they can be making them fertilizer in no time. The one important thing in this, so the carrion crawler is asleep in the nest if it's 10 plus round or turns, and it won't attack unless you deserve. The carrion crawler is fat and happy, doesn't matter. However, underneath it are 2 keys, and the 2 keys can open up the secret doors that are in area 4, which is next. I'll show you the map. So here's the map. Go down the steps. So you see one to the east that goes to area 6, and you got one to the south, which goes into area 5. I draw my secret doors like that to kind of hide it, especially in a VTT, because you don't want a big freaking S sticking out there. Kind of defeats the purpose. So, but you do need a little skill in doing the dynamic lighting in the VTT, so you don't kind of accidentally give it away too. So there is a little bit of skill involved with that, but practice and you'll get better at it. So there's the 2 keys are down there that would be a great assist to the party. Not necessary, but would help. All right, then we go into the secret doors. This is where, if it's before 10 rounds, you're going to see the remaining members of the flame trying to pry open the secret door to the east. And if it takes more than 10 turns, then they're already in area 6. They've already gotten through and are going there. Let me see. And then the other thing that I kind of added in there were some, I always like to add like a little bit of an element of like alchemy or some spell component that might assist in some way. And I added some ox tongue that are leaking red juice, a halfling nose. These are edible. A batch can be used the creation of a healing potion. There are 6 batches. So, it's pretty valuable. If you can get, harvest these things, you could possibly make 6 healing potions, which will, especially in my campaign, will help to no end anybody's campaign. All right. So on to number 5. So number 5 here is a small secret room, and that's where the actual hoard is at. There is a hoard, despite rumors otherwise. However, what happens is they set a trap where if they open up the door, these rocks fall in these clean urns, and this gas fills the room and does 1d10 points of damage. So that could basically eliminate a good portion of your party if you're not careful. It has a DC 12 con save. But this is actually a legit hoard, because usually I'm not that generous with coins. It's usually a little bit here, a little bit there. But I decided, 1,215 silver. However, these coins are minted during the King Melpor at time, and they are small silver coins, only worth half. So really, the 1,215 are worth about 608, 607 silver pieces. So it's not a lot, but it's still pretty significant, especially in mine. And for a first level character, is pretty good. Then you got a potion in there, and this is a potion of vitality. The cool thing about this potion is, and this is in the Shadowdark official rule book too, is it adds permanent hit points to your character. I think it's 1d6. So you drink that puppy, and your character, instead of being a 6 hit point fighter, might get 4 more. Now all of a sudden at first level they have 10 hit points. So that thing is hugely valuable. And then a good portion of some gemstones in there. Those are 20 silver piece each. And then I added an amulet that's more religious oriented to one of my gods of battle and war, Sarath. He's a very, very lawful, where, order and war is what his thing. So if you go outside of it, then he doesn't have much good to say to you. If you're lawful, it'll give you a +1 AC. If you're not, this is 1d6 points of damage. And for this room, there is no time factor because the flame doesn't even know, they don't even know anything about this room. So that won't come into play. Now, number 6 here, you go through the plane. This is where Jiraal was found and killed. The room is destroyed. The furnishing and tapestry are shredded and broken, and 3 bodies are scattered in the debris. The bodies bear the wounds of the battle. These are Jiraal's guards. They've been stripped of any valuables. And then if you go through all the debris, so what ended up happening is they ended up getting killed by the bounty hunters or whatever. And then they were searching for the Hoard, but they couldn't find it. So they tore down the place just looking for anything. But what they did miss is because in all their destruction, they missed the loose floorboard. It's still going to be it's a DC 15, which is pretty tough. But if you do that, you can find a loose floorboard and you can find another potion. This is a potion of elemental resistance. So it'll do element types of damage, do half for 5 rounds. So if you get hit by a, I don't know, flaming, burning hands, and I think it does 1d6 and it does 6 points of damage, you only take 3. And then a scroll for knock, because it's always good to have a knock spell somewhere, and it's always good to know a mage with a knock spell. So that'll give them, if you have a mage in a party, the knock spell. And then, now, unlike in area 4, the flame is willing to kind of work with the party. The remaining members of the flame adventuring group are here. They found a door hidden within the wall, but they can't get it open. The GM should roll on the reaction table to determine how they respond to the party. So they might be willing to work with them. But when we get down to room 6, there is no rolling. They are hostile because they think the Hoard is in there and they're not going to share with anybody. So they're not. The party is going to have a little bit of a fight on their hands, even if there's just a few, because there's 2 of them are gone at this time, so there'd only be like 3 left. And these are them. So you got Endrick, who's sort of like the unsung hero of them. And like I said, I just rolled everything random on this, but they're all pretty similar. Like chainmail and a shield. I think they all have chainmail. Yeah. And then a few of them have a shield of faith, of clerics. So they can get up to what's their AC? 15 for these guys. So, this guy has a 16. I think probably, yeah, he's got +2 dex. So even though it's a low-level party, you're going to be missing 2 of these. So they only have 3. And I just had it randomly determined, just to add another element of randomness to it. So that's everything to it. I mean, it's a nice little short adventure. It's like I said, it's not an adventure that the party has to do. It's not an adventure that they have to save the world with. So, and then my back page, I just have a little piece by Dean Spencer, another little loot thing. So, yeah, so that is my newest Patreon adventure, Jiraal's Hoard. You can go to my Patreon, download it for free. You can pretty much download everything I have there for free. So, and before you go, if you like this video, let me know. Comment, please. Do the whole, subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications, even though I don't know if that works very well, but I guess do it anyways because that'll be helpful. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and hope you're doing some gaming. All right, take care and roll better than me.